Well, students, today let us study about Human Genome Project. Human Genome Project. It is also called as HGP, Human Genome Project. So students, you know that our body is made up of billions of cells, and the cells contain the DNA. Now you know that two individuals cannot be similar. There is a difference, phenotypic and genotypic difference between the two individuals. And individual to individual it differs. That difference is due to DNA. That difference is due to DNA. The DNA contains the nucleotides, and here there will be complementary nucleotides. So this assumption led to the scientists for finding out this nucleotide sequence in the entire DNA in the cell. Okay, so this quest of the scientists for finding out the nucleotide sequence, Human Genome Project was started. So this was a project of US Department of Energy, then National Institute of Health, and after some days Wellcome Trust from UK. Wellcome Trust for UK also joined the project, and also some other countries like Germany, Japan, France and China participated in this project. Please remember these points. These are given in the NCERT book. This project was started in the year 1990. Project was started in the year 1990. It was a 13-year long project. So it was expected to be completed in the year 2003. But this project was completed in the year 2006, as chromosome number 1 took some longer time for sequencing. Chromosome number 1 was not sequenced. So at last in the year 2006 this project was completed, and according to NCERT, if the data, enormous data received from this project is to be typed, this data is to be typed, giving 1000 letters on each page. Then 1000 such pages will form one book. And for writing this entire data, 300 books will require. So from this you can understand that how enormous data we have received from this Human Genome Project. So to store this data, to store, retrieve and analyze the data, a new branch of science came into being that was called as bioinformatics. Bioinformatics. Its job was to store the data and analyze the data when required. This new branch of science is called as bioinformatics. Okay. Then it was a mega project. It was a mega project. Why it was called a mega project? Because just for sequencing one pair of nucleotide, the expenses incurred were $3. And so to sequence the entire nucleotide, that is 3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs. So to sequence 3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs, the amount required was $9 billion. This will show that why it was called as a mega project. And it was not a project of only US, 20 other countries were also involved in this project. Now let us study about the goals of the project. Let us study about the goals of the project. His first goal was to know about 3 into 10 to the power 9 base pair sequence in human genome. Second goal was to know about 25,000 to 30,000 genes in the human genome. And third was find a mechanism to store retrieve and analyze the data. Then also one committee was formed. Its name was LC. Please remember this. One committee was formed. Its name was LC. This can be asked in NEET examination. Its job was to take care of the issues related with ethical, legal and social issues. As it was a mega project, so such ethical, legal and social issues can crop up. So LC would take care of all these issues. Please remember this point and also remember about LC. Okay? Now let us study about the methodology. Let us study about the methodology. Two approaches were there. Some scientists were of the opinion to go for sequencing the entire strand. Okay, and some scientists were of the views that suppose this part is forming gene, this part is forming gene, and this part is forming gene. So some scientists were of the view that only those part which is expressing itself will be considered, this part. And some scientists were of the opinion that this entire strand is to be sequenced. So there were two approaches. The first approach was called as express sequence tags, as this gene is expressing itself, hence express sequence tags, and this was sequence annotation. Sequence annotation. So finally this approach was selected and they decided to find out the nucleotide sequence of the entire genome. Okay. Now for this they selected the host cell. The host cell was containing bacteria and yeast. They selected these two host cells so that the multiplication of the DNA can be done. So bacteria means this is a prokaryote and yeast means eukaryote. So both prokaryote and eukaryote were selected. Now the second step was the isolation of the DNA from the cell. isolation of the DNA from the cell. The entire DNA is taken out from the cell, and the third step was fragmentation of the DNA. As the long strand of DNA which is received from the cell is difficult to sequence, if it is small pieces are made, then that fragment will be easy to sequence. So fragmentation of the DNA is done by the enzyme restriction endonuclease. Restriction endonuclease. Suppose this is a DNA strand, then this strand will be cut into small pieces like this. And this will be done by restriction endonuclease. Okay. Let us write down the fourth point. Now these fragments of DNA fragments will be introduced into host cell. Suppose this is a host cell. This DNA fragment will be introduced inside the host cell for copying. But these fragments on their own are not able to enter the host cell. So they will require two vectors. Two vectors will be provided. So with the help of those vectors, this DNA strand will enter inside the host cell. The vectors are bacterial, artificial chromosome, that is BAC, and yeast artificial chromosome. That is YAC. So BAC and YAC are the two vectors which will help these DNA fragments to get inside the host cell, and there many copies were made inside the host cell, and these copies will be amplified, means their size will be rather bigger, so that it can be sequenced very easily. And the sequence was done by Frederick Sanger's method. The sequencing was done by Frederick Sanger's method. Frederick Sanger also sequenced amino acids in the protein. He also sequence amino acids in the protein. So the DNA was sequenced by Sanger's method. Bas this much only you have to keep it in mind. Okay. Now let us study about the result. Let us study about the result. We have around 3164.7 million base pair. We have around 3164.7 million base pair in our genome. Then we have around 30,000 genes. Previously, this figure was around 80,000 to 1,40,000. But now it is proved that we have around 30,000 genes. The average gene contains 3,000 bases. This is bases, it is not base pairs. 3,000 bases. And the largest gene is of dystrophin protein. The largest gene is of dystrophin protein containing 2.4 million genes. Containing 2.4 million genes. This dystrophin protein is found in the muscles of the body. So this dystrophin protein is the largest gene containing 2.4 million genes. Now chromosome number 1 is the largest chromosome. Chromosome number 1 is the largest chromosome. Having 2968 genes. So chromosome number 1 is the largest, then 2 is small, then 3 is more small, then 4 is more small, and the smallest chromosome is Y, which has only 231 genes. The Y chromosome contains only 231 genes. Again, as you know, 99.9% DNA in all humans is same. Only 0.1% is different. 99.9% DNA in all humans is same. Only 0.1% is different. Please write down the sixth point. We have 1.4 million SNPs. It is also pronounced as SNPs. SNP means single nucleotide polymorphism. SNP means single nucleotide polymorphism. Now what is polymorphism? Polymorphism is the change in DNA material at a particular point or locus. It is the change of DNA material at a particular point or locus. Now SNP is called as single nucleotide polymorphism. So suppose the sequence here is A, T, C and G. The sequence here is A, T, G and G. And suppose the sequence here is A, T, T and G. So you will find that these two nucleotides are same, and also this last nucleotide G is same. There is difference only in this third nucleotide, that is the single nucleotide. It is called as single nucleotide polymorphism. Again, only 2% RNA forms protein. So of the entire DNA strand, only 2% RNA will form protein. As you know, DNA will be converted into RNA, then RNA will form protein. So only 2% RNA forms protein. Then there are repetitive sequences. There are repetitive sequences. These sequences can repeat many times. Ranging from 100 times to 1000 times or more. This phenomena of repetitive sequence will be very useful in DNA fingerprinting. Okay. And the last point is function of only 50% gene is known. The function of only 50% gene is known. The other 50%, the function of that 50% is yet to be ascertained. So, function of only 50% gene is known. Okay. So, please write down these points. There is one important application of this project. The data received from this project, one important application is, it is very useful in case of genetic disorder. As you know, many diseases are the cause of genetic disorder. So once we come to know that which gene is not producing the protein, so we can come to know the cause of the genetic disorder, and so that disorder can be easily cured.